Welcome to RDG Kitchen. You know, the past couple of episodes we've done some very cool little sandwich-like things. The great RDG burger with the special sauce that we made. Then we moved on to the crispy chicken sandwich and the big tall bun with the slaw and the black pepper ranch dressing and that side of cool watermelon salad. So today I'm going to show you this very nice little barbecued pork sandwich. And since it's the end of summer and the watermelon is so good, we're going to do it with a watermelon barbecue sauce. I'm going to show you each how to barbecue the pork and the barbecued watermelon sauce. I always like those barbecued pork shoulders because they're so moist and tender, and this is one piece from it. It's a flat iron pork steak that really tender and moist, but still just rich enough to make a good piece of barbecued pork. I always like to cure the pork just a little bit. It kind of makes it a little more tender, a little bit juicier, and it's very easy to do. A little bit of brown sugar. Just going to crumble it on top of it. The ratio is about 2 to 1, 2 parts sugar to 1 part salt. Some people would add a little bit of even black pepper to this for seasoning. Some people will add a little bit of chili powder. Really, you can kind of personalize it for yourself. Then you just are going to rub it with it. It's kind of like a little dry rub. It'll stick sort of to the outside of the meat. So you rub the pork with the sugar and the salt, the pepper and spices, whatever you like. That's why they call it a rub. Just so it's nicely coated. Then you pop it in the refrigerator for about a half an hour to an hour or so, just to let the brine kind of cure the pork just enough before we put it in the barbecue. So we have the pork been curing about an hour. You can see how shiny it's gotten now as it starts to draw out some of that liquid as it cures. And now we're going to kind of barbecue it, smoke it, slow grill it basically. And we have the big wood fire here with the fire sort of built to one side. And you kind of look for that little corner where very little's going on. So I'm going to go way in the back, way in the corner where there's no kind of wood underneath, and where it can just very kind of slowly smoke in the corner. So we're somewhere between grilling it and smoking it and barbecuing it. Do the same thing at home on your grill. Don't always grill right over the fire. Find a little quiet spot in the corner and let it kind of slow roast. It'll be much, much juicier way back in the corner. A little out of the way spot on the grill. So just turn it every, 10 minutes or so, 15, just kind of rotating it, just enough to get each side evenly sort of brown as it goes. And there's no real rule to it. Just keep going along. You can see it'll start to brown up quite a bit as it goes. Just keep slowly turning it. So while that pork is slowly cooking way off in the corner, we're going to make a little watermelon barbecue sauce to go with our barbecue pork sandwich. All right, now we're going to make a little watermelon barbecue sauce, which is a lot like most barbecue sauces. Some tomato, sugar, a little vinegar, spices, chilies, and so forth. We're going to use something else that's red like tomatoes, watermelon, for kind of real summer tangy barbecue sauce. Very simple to make. The first thing is we'll put the little cubes of watermelon. This is seedless watermelon. You could use a seed one too, but you have to take all the seeds out. We'll put them in a blender. Then we're going to add a little bit of garlic, just like 2 cloves of garlic chopped up into the blender. A little bit of white onion, and you can tell this is already much like a traditional barbecue sauce. Garlic, little onion in there. And then a couple little twists. This is some ginger, a little bit of sliced fresh ginger, for like a good little ginger watermelon sauce. Give it a little kind of fun flavor. I'm going to add 1 chipotle chili here with some adobo in it. Find a nice one there. 1 chipotle chili and a little bit of that smoked chili adobo. That's going to give it that barbecued flavor. Then a couple spices, a little bit of coriander seed, give it a beautiful perfume, and just a pinch of cinnamon. Then we have the salt, about a half a teaspoon of salt, and about a half teaspoon of pepper, right off the end of the fingertips there. And then we'll add the vinegar. This is like a mild vinegar. You can use like an apple cider vinegar, a little rice wine vinegar. About a 1/4 cup of that. That's going to get the blender started too. And then to balance it, we put the brown sugar, which is very typical in a barbecue sauce. So it's, you can see the whole recipe just goes right inside the blender. So we're going to puree the watermelon barbecue sauce. Everything is kind of solid there right now, but you have to remember it's watermelon. The water part, there's a lot of water in watermelon. So when I turn this on, we'll see as it starts out that that watermelon will slowly begin to turn to liquid as we go. And there it goes, all up into a beautiful sauce. We'll let it go, you know, you let it go slowly or on higher power for about a minute to be sure that everything is nice and finely blended. So now the last phase of the barbecue sauce, we've just blended everything until smooth. We're going to pour it. It's gorgeous. Look at the beautiful color, just kind of watermelon red. The smell already is wonderful, the smoked chili and the ginger and that sort of sweet watermelon smell. So now that we've pureed the watermelon sauce, we're going to take it to the stove and basically just simmer it, you know, for about 30 minutes or so. It'll start to bubble and it'll reduce, not quite by half, but you'll see that it starts to get thick. And amazingly, it looks just like a barbecue sauce. So just kind of let it simmer until it just starts to thicken up, maybe 30 minutes at the most. So we just keep turning our pork back there to get it nice and slowly cooked. And when it's done, you know, it's going to come off looking really like a nice piece of slow cooked barbecued pork. We just let it kind of reduce and just get it, you see, almost draw a line through it. It starts to get, just looks like a nice little thickened barbecue sauce. Really concentrates the flavor, makes it even more rich. Beautiful color. Looks just like a barbecue sauce, but we're going to have that great watermelon flavor in it. So we've got a lot of work done so far. We have the beautiful pork that's finished and our watermelon barbecue sauce is done. So let's make the sandwich. Here I'm just going to take that pork that we've slowly grilled, barbecued, and cut it just in very thin little slices. I think the thinner the better for a nice sandwich. It's very moist, it's cooked all the way through. Boy, I tell you what, it just sort of cuts like a nice piece of butter almost. Wonderful. Then I'm going to put the barbecued pork in a little bowl. I like to put just a splash of olive oil on it. Just a splash. And because I like things kind of smoky and a little spicy, a little bit of that chipotle adobo, and we just sort of toss the pork in there to let all the flavors come together. And it really looks like a shiny, delicious pork. Just that little extra punch of flavor. Each slice, because it's so thinly sliced, will pick up that nice flavor. Then we have our toasted bun. And the first step is going to be to put that beautiful pork, just kind of pile it up on top of that sandwich. As they've always said, the key to making a great sandwich is can you get it nice and piled up. Get all the flavor from that bowl there. This is going to be great. Then we have our beautiful barbecue sauce, and this is why we had to reduce it to thicken it, so that when we put it on top of that pork, it's going to stay right there and not run off too fast. Watermelon barbecue sauce sitting on top. That looks great so far, but we're going to keep going. This is a little slaw, cilantro and cabbage slaw, that we add a little touch of lime, a little touch of olive oil, and then a little bit of this kind of, just a tiny bit of this smoked cheddar dressing. This is like the ultimate barbecued pork sandwich, just to give that slaw a little light coating and a touch of that kind of cheese ranch dressing almost. And then this we're going to put right on top of that barbecued pork sandwich. That's looking awfully good right now. And then we're going to come in with the top of the bun, kind of floated right there, kind of sits down on top of that sandwich. Now when you make a really tall barbecue pork sandwich, sometimes you need a little skewer to hold it there in place so it'll all arrive in one piece. That's a great looking sandwich there. And with this sandwich, with all those great, the tender pork, the smoky barbecue sauce, and the great slaw, I need something a little kind of crunchy. Put a nice little bit of crunchy potato chips on it, and a little squeeze of lime juice. It just makes them really wonderful. You know, just for fun, we're going to do it all for $10 at lunch, Monday through Friday. So we'll hope you come by and see us and have a nice little lunch.